Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Throwback Thursday with Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Episode 5. We are ready to rejoin society. Last time on Macross, we had what I would call an incredibly, stunningly successful bottle episode. We tossed Lin Minmei and Hikaru Ichijo together and forced them to make their way in a deserted, empty, gigantic space station that they don't know the layout of for almost 2 weeks. And I believe every bit of it, from their struggle to survive to their quiet, growing despair to their somewhat lame attempts to pull themselves out of it to the incredibly interesting and very resonant weird romance sequence where we had the two characters line up to get married and almost did, only to be interrupted by the, at that point, almost unwanted incursion of reality and safety and salvation. So, this does some things. I've been thinking over the period in between how much effort it would take, without an episode like that, to build the level of relationship believability between Hikaru and Minmei. How much would that take? And I think it would take a lot. It's amazing to me, looking back, that 25 minutes sells me in every way on the interrelationship between these characters. It's stunning. I think that modern showrunners should take notes, and I think that modern showrunners should be really envious of the ability to tell a story like this, where you're able to just separate your main characters out early on in the story and tell an entirely intimate, entirely focused, entirely personal mini-story around their survival on a desert island or something like that, before returning to the complicated, multi-character, multi-dimensional bullshit that you actually have to deal with in order to make the show work. Part of the joy of last episode is that all the fighting stuff, all the plane stuff, all the interactions between Captain Global and all the rest of the crew, all the interactions between Roy Fokker and everybody else, all of the reintegration of normal society, all the people who were up in the shelter and got pulled along with us into the ship, all the technical aspects of moving everything over there, everybody settling in has already happened. And it happened off screen, and we didn't have to deal with any of it. It's already happened. There are so many advantages to this. First off, we get to just put all that aside and focus entirely on our characters for that period of time. The alternative to this would be to have 10 episodes to get the same amount of character stuff between Minmei and Hikaru, and it wouldn't feel as poignant and it wouldn't resonate as deeply with you, and you wouldn't remember it quite as solidly, because it wouldn't be isolated out, but it would be sprinkled across those 10 episodes, and maybe we'd get the same level of believability. But we'd also have this and that and this and that and that and this all going on at the same time. This is sort of the Gundam model, I think, in some way. The romance aspects or the character relationships of Gundam are spread out across many episodes. It's pretty rare for one action to occur in an episode and then the consequences of that action or the results of that action to occur within the same episode. That's not what we got here. We got all the consequences are direct and immediate within the episode, within that thing, except the one that gets cliffhanged and left as an untied thread, which now is going to color the rest of the story in a way because, well, there's a part of the story that hasn't been told completely. Our characters didn't fully get married. They were gonna get married. They were gonna kiss. And now they have it. And so now we have a thing that is like, it's the unsung song. It's the last note of the piece and it's left hanging and we are desperate to finish it off. It's like looking at a beautiful 1,000-piece puzzle. There's a puzzle piece missing. Hey! I'm going to go to the ends of the fucking earth to find that puzzle piece. I'm here for the whole ride now. Now you're invested. Is it manipulative? Yes. Is that what I want? Yes! I'm here to be manipulated. That's the point. I want the show to grab my emotions and do stuff to them that I'm not in favor of. Like, control me! And it's doing it great. So there's that aspect that we get to really focus in on the characters. I mean, okay. God. If you could do this in like a Game of Thrones style thing, you'd do it every time. Every time, if you could have what is it? Snow and Daenerys, you have them like hang out as kids or like teenagers. They're like, one day we're gonna get married. It tells the whole story. You do it. Now maybe RR doesn't because he's RR and he's probably a better storyteller than that anyway. But you do that shit. Any story could benefit from this kind of intrigue. It gives us this sort of setup payoff. It makes our narrative occur in an almost mythological context because there's this unfulfilled dream that our characters are living in. They have to go back to reality now. They have to live in reality now. But that dream of Hikaru and Minmay together alone is actually the dream. It's actually kind of the romantic dream. You know, the characters kiss and the world fades out from behind. That's the romantic dream, and they got to experience it for real. In a very difficult circumstance with all of the pain and all the terror and all the... Okay, great. And now they get shoved into a complicated reality where the whole family is there and Roy Fokker is there and there are aliens trying to kill us and we have to pilot planes and we're in a giant super dimension fortress and we're near Pluto and this is all reality. And we'd really like to get back home, right? That's where we're going, is home and Earth, right? Wrong. That's not where we're going. That's not in any way what we're interested in anymore. That was what we were interested in at the end of last episode. We were like, oh gosh, how are we going to get home? Now it doesn't matter. I really think that this is the case. Now it doesn't matter. What matters is that we get back to Hikaru and Minmay together alone. Or at least together at peace. Right? That's the real goal state that we're heading for. That's the real end game that we've set up here, is finding that missing puzzle piece and putting it back. And it doesn't really matter whether it happens aboard the SDF Macross or happens at home on Earth. The two are almost the same now. We'll see as we get to explore the ship now and find out what's going on aboard. We'll see how different it is and how well we'll be able to create a society on board this gigantic spaceship. But we might be here for a while. We might be here for a long haul. And so it might be better to aim ourselves at something achievable. Something like love, maybe. Okay, last thing I'm going to say about how cool that element of the episodes is. Now, all the things that we didn't have to witness, all the integration of society and the mix of military and civilian life and all that stuff, now we get to step into it and get a tour. This is also brilliant. This is brilliant. Because how would we exposit all this shit to us if our characters had been there the whole time? We'd have to sit through it. At least in montage, as they bring all the ice shit aboard and the city somehow makes its way into a cargo bay and we set up all the squadrons and all this stuff. Now we can just take a tour because our characters weren't there for any of it. So they need a tour and we can come along. It's perfect. So instead of having to sit our characters down and be like, listen, buddy, who already knows the entire layout of the ship and has assisted in putting it all together, let me tell you the layout of the ship and how it's all put together. Instead, we can go, hey, you haven't been around. Let me catch you up on things. And we, the audience, get to sit there and go, good, because I didn't know anything. Tell me more. Love it. I love it. I love every, as far as I could tell, I might be wrong on this, I love every aspect of that choice to split our characters up and focus entirely on the intimate and interesting interactions between Lin Minmay and Hikaru Ichijo. Top tier decision making. What's next? Reintegrating into society, of course. Meeting the family, of course. Hanging out. Does Hikaru have parents and friends and stuff? I don't know. And we gotta turn that boy into a fighter pilot. He is currently a stunt pilot, hanging out, chillaxing. He's going to be a fighter pilot and a hero one day. That's sort of on the box. Like, that's the advertising. I would be very surprised if it doesn't go that direction. So, how do we head in that direction? He doesn't seem to be very interested in getting in a fighter plane and flying it around and shooting people. Especially if he has to kill people. So what's going to change his mind? Only one way to find out, right? Okay, so we're ready to go for Super Dimension Fortress Macross Episode 5. I have got a glass of kombucha. God, that's fucking good. Which is fermented tea. Bubbly and sweet. Fruit juicy. Really good. Really good. And we're ready to go. Episode 5 is up and ready. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, because this is an old show. I'm going to keep putting up the picture-in-picture versions because I've had no issues whatsoever. And that's lovely. Early access on the Patreon, linked in the description, as well as access to the Discord and voting rights. There's a poll going on right now for Tuesday where there are comedy shows. Should be interesting. Across episode 5. Beep beep timer. Let's go. Ba-da-da-da. Wait, is it called the Macross Sky just because they're giants? Like micro and macro. So it's their sky because it's the macro sky. That's pretty dumb. That's pretty dumb. I hope that's not true. Is this battle that we're witnessing here, is this supposed to be on ship? I don't know. Oh, I also don't know if this episode was animation directed by Itano. We'll keep an eye out. We'll keep playing the game. Last one was definitely not. No missiles. This one, there might be. There might be missiles. I'm sorry that I keep yawning. I don't know why I'm very yawny today. Rapid warp. Cool. Got a bunch of little mechs being moved around all over the place. And the episode is called Transformation. They're setting up their shop, huh? What is it, rations? All good. Is he... Is he living here now? With what food? Is she gonna magic them into deliciousness? Hmm. Mmm. Still totally possible. We might have the resources. Run business, make things work. Yeah, cool. Huh. So the idea... Huh. Huh. Okay. Okay, Lin Min-Mei. Typical Min-Mei. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, we gotta keep morale up. Where did all the hair come from? Oh. It's something yan yan. We don't have any food. And all this before Hikaru arrives. Uh-oh. Oh, he did go out and find a space tuna. That's your outfit? Well, not yet. Oh, just getting rejected on the stairs. Oof. Oh, I thought we were more than friends. Oh, he went back into his room. No! No, buddy! Oh! Oh, buddy! Oh, no! Oh. I thought we were serious. Incoming. Maybe? Or maybe that's just normal. Is that normal? Doesn't sound normal. Whip, whip, whip! All systems green! Whip, whip, whip! Very, very annoying. Does that guy have just full blackout eyes? I find that terrifying. I don't know about you. I'm sorry. I think we have an alien infiltrator here. Can we space this guy? He's pretending. That's not a human. Okay, it definitely turns into a person. It's definitely humanoid. Naruhodo. So we have to henge. It's actually not henshin. It's fully in katakana transformation. Darn. You're telling... Oh, yeah. If everything moves around, what happens inside? You might have to. Okay, they've got tons of rations. What? Bro! Oh. Wait, has he been searching for him for the last 2 weeks? Does he not know? Does he not know that he was safe? No, okay, he does. I guess. It's my plane. Let me show you a real plane, buddy. Yeah, what happened? You get dumped? You get told by a girl you were about to make out with that you're only a friend? Oh, weird. What? Sparkle, sparkle. So the call of the racer, which is also going to be symbolic of the past and all the things. Yeah. Hey, finally to space. Nice dining room. So I'm really curious what the propulsion system on these fighters is. Just saying. Also, why do they need wings? They don't. Like, the design of a F-16 is not at all the design that you want for a spaceship. Oh, there you go. That actually doesn't actually tell you anything. What is the fuel source that they're causing expansion in order to produce thrust? Is it water? Hydrogen? Like... the same justification for opening a restaurant. Just go help with the restaurant. Ha! Ha! You were in a life or death situation. I thought you were gonna give me a big thing about war and peace. Yeah. Badly. Oh, come on, kiddo. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's got an attention span of a goldfish. I don't know about Faye. Oh, bad guys! Oh, shit, yes! Space pickles! Must be so annoying. Good God, that was nuts. Huh? So macro 100% is because they're big. So we're Myclones? Zentradi. Oh. Huh. Let's go kill them all. Let's go kill them all. Oh! Let's just go kill the ones on the battleship. Alright, we're about to get probed. Fuck. But hey, at least they're leaving Earth behind, so that's good. Bro, I'll figure it out. Yeah, we were gonna kiss the other day. I was hoping we could keep that up. Ah, you're in a girl's room. She likes bunnies. There was just a line that wasn't there. Oh, yeah! Wasn't this room totally fucked? Baka. Oh, record company? Oh! Olion Records. Well, but that's all gone. Yeah, not that it matters now, but what about the attitude toward the... Yeah, but so what? The attitude toward the store works here too. No. Different attitude. People need singers here. There are reasons to do art. There are reasons to keep going. There are reasons to live your life on. Okay. Griffith, do you have a dream? Huh. The racer, huh? That's pretty lame, dude. That's pretty lame, actually. Oh, I guess my life's over because the mechanical thing is broken. Pretty lame. I wonder what it'll come to. It might be the sort of like making her dream come true sort of thing. All right, we're being probed. And we're going to have to be ready to do the transformation for the main battleship too. That's very cute. So I think Hikaru's probably not going to fly today. This is our first jet scramble, man. Whoa. Just that one frame with all the tingly. Okay, can we get a protect a reason? Like, something? What's the change for him? See, that is not a hero's attitude. Oh, snaps. Wow, we did not slow down to get into this at all. What the fuck? So this color scheme is amazing. Yeah, I feel like it might be a Tano. Weird. They're being sneaky. God. And we don't have the ability to return significant fire unless we transformation. Well, this is cool lighting. I'm gonna guess not Itano. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Immediately, some interesting shit happens, and I don't know. Global without a hat. How dare they? They've turned me into Harlock. We gotta do something crazy. Captain Global. Time to fold again. It's gotta turn into a person. I'm actually uncertain what's gonna happen to the city. Maybe it's built this way. Maybe it'll be fine. Let's do it. Oh, that was the reuse. And they're just sitting on a cliff somewhere, right? Oh my god. Find something and hang on to it. Also, do we have gravity? How do we have gravity generation? Didn't those get ripped out? Ah. What do you even do to prepare for that? Hold tightly onto anything. Yeah, hold onto the trees. Or each other. Whoa. Good line. I'm just one of them, I see. Oh! Oh! And she finally sees! Does she? Does she see? Does she understand? I don't think so. Oh, I'm just like any of them. Man, the back and forth between the characters is really gripping. Transformation! We get a groovy bass line. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Careful what you ask for. Yeah. Oh, guys. Guys, stop. Oh! Oh! Ah! And the truth! Ah! Ah! So that's maximally. Oh! Literally everything is getting spaced! Oh my god! Holy shit, it does not get safe. Oh my god. I thought it was just gonna be like magically fine. No, people are getting fully crushed and buildings are getting exploded and shit. Rad. Rad. It's like, what would happen on the inside? Hell. Yeah, correct. Yeah, population down 10%. Okay, so we're doing these double exposures to get the scale. Transformation. Giant boat arms. Sweet. Is the gun in its dick? Where's the main gun? It's really important where you position the main gun. Yes, sir. Its head? Shoulders? Shoulder, head, place, space. Get fucked. Absolutely get fucked. Don't fuck with the myclones. That's what we said. Don't fuck with the myclones. Bad pickles. Be gone, bad pickles. Hey, maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe we shouldn't have fucked with them. Yeah, but what about the damage? Yeah. Immediately global is on key. Yeah, really sorry about ruining your lives again. Really sorry about that. If any of your family got spaced, we'll give you our sincerest apologies. Yeah, go tell somebody. Woo! You sure did. Baka. The same. Okay. That's it? I think I would like a slightly better justification for Hikaru to join the military. I don't believe that. I don't buy it. Okay, that was interesting. Oh, are we about to preview? We are. Oh god, thank goodness it's coming. It's gonna come up with a next episode preview screen. If it does that from here on out, we're gonna be fine. Oh. That's actually a huge relief. Because otherwise, it's going to hit you with, like, the first frame is going to have dialogue at the bottom. And I can't help but see that. So that's much better. Much better. Wow, interesting. How fickle is Minmay? How fickle is Hikaru? Hikaru, how fickle are you, man? Woof. What a young lad. What a guy. I really like Captain Global. His decision-making is great. It's like, He's really thinking about it. I really like this moment at the end where they're all like laughing and cheering, having succeeded, and then he doesn't say anything. He just stands there for a second. They go and stop, and he goes, "I want damage reports." Right? He's immediately mission accomplished. Back to the core of the important thing. We've got a population to handle. It makes him stand out as a really stellar leader. You know, like. Again, I'm sorry for doing all of these comparisons to Gundam. They're going to be continuous. I can't help it. These shows came out near the same time. They are, in some real sense, in answer to each other. They're in the same space and time. And there are a lot of elements. There's this whole bridge scenario, captain in charge, all that jazz. Bright, the storytelling around Bright as a captain is not as strong. Not nearly. And not as rapid or as fast. In the same way that I talked at the beginning of this episode about how rapid and effective the interpersonal relationship development between Minmay and Hikaru was, the development for Captain Global and exploration of who he is as a leader and commander it's just as compelling to me. It's really quite excellent. There are bits of the show where it's like, I look at the facial expressions, the characters, they're kind of goofy sometimes. They don't really nail the emotions properly, I think. Or they're a little off. They feel a little bit, a little weird. The animation suffers in tiny moments here and there. But then the general thrust of the writing and flow and pace and themes and stuff is excellent. It's excellent. Really surprisingly excellent. I did not expect it to be this good coming in. No shot. No shot that I expected it to be this good. I'm stunned. Everything seems to have consequences and stakes that I believe in. We can transform into a giant mecha robot. Yes. I mean, from the outset of the show, I was saying that's something that I want to see. We see the SDF Macross. I'm looking at him like, those are legs. That looks like it's going to turn into a giant mecha robot, and I can't wait. Sounds great. In order to get there, you have to choose. Are you willing to cause suffering and destruction? To tear apart this just barely resurrected city where the civilians are just barely getting their stuff back together? Yeah, you have to. The enemy is here, and you can't deal with them. You're getting overwhelmed. You have to. You have to make those choices. You have to make those sacrifices. It's great. It's great. And there's something to it. Like, his hat falls off. Captain Global's hat falls off, revealing him, making him not just a caricature, but a person, a human being. Not just a caricature in a hat, but a human being. And he's so focused on the sequence that he doesn't go and pick it up until it's all over. Right? All these little things tie together and create a really interesting weave. I think it's great. Super duper interesting. Okay. Auntie and uncle, limited rations. Interesting that they run a Chinese restaurant. She's, as far as I can tell, fully Japanese. There's no indication that Lin Minmay is Chinese or that her family is. That's interesting. Multicultural and intriguing. She is incredibly happy-go-lucky, but not ultra naive. Not really. A little bit more reasonable than that. And she argues that even during the wars, you guys stayed open. What are you talking about? Run a restaurant, but we're on a spaceship. And her response is, that's not the point. It doesn't matter. So what? You think people aren't going to want restaurants? On a spaceship at the edge of space? And their response is industriousness, I think. I guess it would be boring to be doing nothing. Can't just keep on living off of the government rations. Sure, we'll give it a shot. Why not? Maybe it would be a nice way to keep ourselves busy. Which is really interesting, I think. It says something, first off. Work is good, it says. That's an interesting perspective. It's a classically, solidly Japanese perspective. Very strong. Very strong. We know this. Culturally well ingrained. But it's an important thing to recognize. This is not always the case. And it's not always the case that a show has such a clear-cut perspective on things like this. Work and busyness is good. Contributing to society, also good, but isn't the primary reason that is given by Minmay or by them. I'm desperate to shoe in that reason here because it's the reason that I would give. I think it's a stronger reason. And it's the same reason that I would give for why I think Minmay should sing. People need a restaurant here. The feeling like life is going on and going to continue is going to be absolutely crucial to letting all these normal civilians pretend like life is normal. A little bit of normalcy goes a long way. And a little bit of the opportunity to get good food or to have some culture or to have meeting places. Those are the arguments that I would make. I wouldn't make the argument from the working side that it's a good idea to work because it's a good idea to work. I'd argue we should be the first in order to try to rejuvenate this society and make sure that everybody isn't just sitting around being mad that they're on a battleship in the middle of space. Because it's a huge problem if you've got a civilian population and they're suddenly ripped out of their homes, even if they have their homes, on a battleship, in space, stuck there, now under military rule. Might be really bad. Having something for them to do might be really good. And I mean that in the most cynical way. I mean, like, as cynically as possible, you leave a bunch of people to their own devices, they might end up in bad ways, right? Breaks into horrible circumstances. But that's not the argument that we give. It's simply that it would be a nice way to keep ourselves busy. Okay, and we'll do it. And what else do we see here? We see that Minmay, through her positivity and her perspective and outlook, is able to convince others. This makes her incredibly important. She's a sociocultural hub. She chooses direction. The family's just like, oh, hum-dum rations. And she goes, but what about restaurant? And suddenly, just because the idea is born from her, truly like a joy for the whole family is born out of this. And it's really, really top tier good. And we immediately start to see the ripple effects, right? It ripples out to the soldiers. It ripples out to the mayor, right? And it's going to ripple out to everybody else in the town. She's just starting it. So we do get these little cute moments of character animation, and they hold up and hold together, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're really great, and sometimes they're kind of not. And if the show weren't as damn good as it is, it might annoy me. But it doesn't, because it's damn good. I don't think she has enough hair for these buns. Maybe I'm wrong. No, she does. All right. Okay, I'm wrong. She has enough hair for the buns. Bam! We get a little bit of leg. Can't complain. Can't complain about the tiniest of fan service. What are you doing, you fools? You weirdos, while we're reopening the restaurant? What? On a battleship? At the edge of space? Oh, come on, Mr. Mayor. Even if we are, this is still our town, isn't it? We should do things the way we always have. And he just sort of, oh, indeed, very much true. Again, I think there's a much better argument for this, which is like, look, Mayor, you really want the civilian population just hanging out in a dilapidated town being sad? Maybe we should strike up some businesses and have an economy running and have people do things, you know? I feel like there's a purpose to this whole life thing. But we immediately start to see that it works, right? We should do things the way that we always have. And we should do them well. Little bit of needling around being alone with Hikaru Ichijo for a while. And in the context of the needling, they're kind of making fun of her for it and implying, hey, you've been having the sex, haven't you, girl? And she's, of course, going to be like, no. That's what Hikaru overhears. And so he overhears it as, no, he's just a friend, and sees that in direct contrast with the thing, and because the context isn't there, he's crushed by it a little bit. Rough. I'm just a friend. I guess I'll go back and sadly sit in my room all day. Damn, dude. We were gonna make out, and now I'm just a friend. Now, as affected by this as he is, Hikaru does have this interesting perspective toward it. He's not actually, like, really down. It's really interesting. We get this little smile from him. It's sort of wistful. It's like, I guess I should have expected this. He's able to take these things in stride without appearing really outwardly hurt. But he is kind of hurt by it. Totally happy to let it be. But it bubbles up as soon as he's actually in conversation. He can't help but be a little bit passive-aggressive around it. Or, once he's talking to his mentor, to let it come through there as well. It's interesting how transparent he is in some ways, and how opaque in others. He's both an idiot and a bit transparent. It's pretty interesting. I like the bridge. I don't like this guy. I do also like the odd requirement that we must henshin in order to fire the main gun. It's pretty cool. Blocks, stuff. Okie dokie. I just can't do that. I just can't do it. To throw it all into chaos just as we're getting it quieted down. I will not. Really interesting. Really good. Really good from Captain Global. I really like Captain Global. Oh, the hard, cold shoulder he gives her, and we cut to this really lovely, entirely different from every depiction of Min-Mei's face. It's so completely different from every drawing of Min-Mei's face. It's so completely different. It's like Disney. This is like Disney eyes, Tom and Jerry eyes, like so sad, so emotionally distraught. Totally different. Aww. Amazing. And he goes and nurses his broken dream. So I actually had this question. I was thinking, because he said in the previous episode, we had this back and forth on the radio where Fokker was like, you're not going to go look for the kid? Then I'm going to go look for the kid. I had this idea, like, what if Fokker has just been wandering around the ship for 12 days, unable to find them? and is now himself, like, distraught and dehydrated and underfed, like, Hikaru, I found you, finally. You're safe. And Hikaru's like, dude, I've been hanging out upstairs in the city for the last 6 days. What the fuck are you doing? Hikaru, what are you talking about? I've been looking for you everywhere. But, no, it seems okay. Scrap, but it's wrecked. All right, let's go and look. And we get to go and watch as they blast out into space and immediately answer the question that I had, kind of, partially, at least partly. Wow, they could fly in space, and the answer is yes, they have thermonuclear reaction engines, which doesn't answer the question. I looked this up just the other day, because I was talking with my roommate about nuclear propulsion for space, and we were talking about, well, it seems obvious how you can get a nuclear sub to run. You just do the same sort of steam-generated heat, and steam-generated heat, expansion of steam, run a turbine, easy peasy, no problem, run a sub. Seems to make sense, but what about space? And he had this idea that you actually use the radiation from the nuclear reaction. You use the particles coming out to somehow create pressure going behind you, and it's just like a continuous, limitless source of energy and propulsion. And that's not the case. It's simply not the case. From what I've been able to find, and I'm not a nuclear physicist, nor am I an aviation scientist or aeronautics engineer. I am well studied in many things, not those. Not those. Multiple fields of engineering, not mechanical. But all of the designs that I've seen, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to know from somebody who knows better, have to do with, you have a tank full of some kind of propulsive fluid, something that expands when it's applied to heat, like a lot, like significantly, like hydrogen or water. And then you use the nuclear reaction to generate significant heat. You disperse the heat into the fluid, cause the expansion, and jet the expanded gas, fluid into gas, out the back of the thing. And then even in space, you get a reactive force out of that and significant propulsive energy out of it. So that's pretty cool. This doesn't answer that question. What are they expanding? I don't know. I would assume it would be totally fine if they used, like, water. They did carry an immense amount of seawater with them in the orb, right? So that would be possible. Otherwise, I'd start to be curious about, like, where are you getting supplies? It's a good question. Also, how many years worth of supplies does the SDF have? I would guess that it's meant to staff or crew a significantly larger populace than the one that's currently aboard. And so the size of the populace, they'll actually have like decades worth of food and supplies and recirculated water and recirculated air and stuff. But it's a real question. I wonder if we're going to run into resource allocation issues at any point. So far, so good. Not so. The only issue we had was when the two of them were starving and they found the tuna. But we'll see. With that much thrust, they can fly just about anywhere, which is pretty cool. I do think it's pretty cool. So, do you want to join the military? It's pointless to hang around and do nothing. And his answer is to walk off. And the idea, like the build-up here, is that he's going to have some moral or ethical qualm about joining the military, right? Walk off, be like, you mean join the military, senpai? And he walks off, and he's going to turn around and go, senpai, I shot one of them, and he was humanoid, and it made me feel weird inside. I don't know. And instead, he turns around and says, the fuck is up with girls? I don't get it, man. And this cracks Fokker up, because he thought the same thing, right? Oh, actually, you're just distracted by the lady. Amazing. You're not so different from me after all. Can a girl change in a single day? All right. And he says, she was the one who said you were feeling down. She's thinking about you more than you think she is. Go and smile. And his response is, girls like her are pretty fickle. Make sure you don't lose her to another man. Quite possible, but I don't think is actually the situation here. He just overheard the wrong context for that conversation. Oh, space pickles. Lovely. This is cool stuff. Myclones. Like micro clones? Weird. I think it does mean that macro is the big people. Fascinating. I'm not sold on the echo effect on their voices. They just have the reverb all the way up, and it's very goofy. This whole sequence by the Recon Regold is amazing. All these direct POV sequences are super cool. And they managed to really make Earth feel alien. Like we're moving through it in a way that doesn't make sense for a city. When we imagine moving through a city, we imagine moving through it as we've seen it. Here, we move through the city in the way that somebody who'd never been in a city might move through the city. That's really interesting. What? What are they? They're tiny humanoid macros? I don't know. Yes, they are Myclones. And also, we're not supposed to fuck with them, so let's not. I see. Well, alright, fuck it, let's leave. And so we leave and chase down the Macross instead. Okay. Can't talk. Do talk. How did they fix her room? I don't know. Chat it up. You can read it. He's so down on himself. I bet it's from a boyfriend. Wow, you've got a record contract. Yeah, but it's not gonna matter anymore because we're not on Earth anymore. That was the dream. Do you have one? I had one, but it broke. And he associates his dream with a material object, with a physical thing. Doesn't get it. Now I don't have any dreams. Okay, battle stations, and away we go. Oh my gosh, the battle that kicks off is so chaotic and fucked. It's amazing. This first sweep of things, and they all and it just erupts into chaos and absolute insanity. Dozens of fighters, every which way, in every direction. Really nutty. Super cool. I really, really like it. They start firing on us, knock his hat off, and he's forced to make a choice. Some really cool sequences throughout here. I don't know what it is. He feels much younger without the hat on. You know what I mean? That's what I get from it. He feels much younger. More human, too. We're going to do it. If we do that, Yeah, I know. The choice has been made. Should I join the military? Well, airplanes are your dream, but we won't get to see each other. We're all the same. I'm no different from any of them. And she finally, in that moment, sort of realizes something, right? And Hikaru, just like she sort of said this fatalistic thing during their time alone. Maybe it would be better if this was all just blasted to space dust. Awful. How could you say something like that? And careful what you wish for. And it begins to split. And she begins to fall. And he acts immediately, of course. Right? His conscious internal struggle is wiped away by the truth. I like it. Reminds me of some of the elements of Mushoku Tensei that we've been talking about recently, with the unconscious and conscious being on completely different wavelengths, or totally at odds with one another. It's very possible and very cool to see in characters like this. The transformation sequence is amazing and terrifying. I thought that it was magically going to be okay. I really did. I don't know why. I guess I'm just trained that shit that goes on the outside of the ship doesn't affect what's going on the inside of the ship. Man, it sure does. People get spaced here. We don't see any specific corpses, but people die here. You know, I mean, those people are now floating. People die here. And they're not dying because of enemy attacks. They're dying because of the transformation sequence itself. And so their deaths are on Global's hands. And he knows it. I think it's stellar. I think the actual sequence looks pretty cool. There are elements that look really, really cool, and there are elements that just kind of look okay. This portion with the primary big movement out here looks great. This stuff in here, big chunks of things moving, looks great. The double exposed sections like this, could take them or leave them, but that's fine. The whole thing transforms, blasts away, and Global is able to put his hat back on. And Hikaru makes his choice. I'm going to do it, Minmay. I can't just keep standing around doing nothing, right? And from there, our squads get to return, and we leave off with Hikaru making a choice. He will join the military in order to impress the girl. So everybody chooses to keep on keeping on. In large part, because there's no better option. That's pretty good. I think there are better reasons to do things than just the alternative is bad. But if you're stuck and you can't find them, you can't fathom a way forward, just continuing is good enough. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Trying to maintain a little bit of normalcy, even in an insane world. Very cool. A very interesting episode of Macross. A lot of elements that I expected, a lot that I didn't expect. And now our boy is joining the military, and we'll have to see how that plays out. Freaking excellent. I really like it. I hope you do too, and I hope to see you next week for more. Thanks so much for watching. Early access on the Patreon. Chinese food in the restaurant. Nyan Nyan Chinese restaurant is open for business. Awesome. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Peace.